Just about 11 minutes after 8 o'clock inside the TNT Morning Show. We are here with you until 9 o'clock. Richard Trumpet, DJ Elon, Tim, and this morning for Motivational Mondays, we're joined by Stephen Taylor. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago, the whole squad 99.1. Dominic, big up yourself.
Yes, I know. Stephen, for them and those who would be hearing the name Stephen Taylor for the very first time, tell us, who is Stephen Taylor?
Yeah, who's your wife? Stephen, that's always been an interesting question because, you know, people have their perceptions of you, but I just, born in Trinidad and Tobago, loved filmmaking, special effects, creative, and really just realized my whole purpose is to push the thing forward and to build that bridge between, you know, the creatives of this island and the wider world.
So when did you actually, when was that time when you got bitten by the bug and decided, look, at what age you decided, look, this is what I want to do?
Yeah, why I want to go to that purgatory.
Oh, at what point?
So at the age of 7. So back in the day, I grew up in Lacano Road, Santa Cruz.
Right.
And in San, I don't know if you remember Presidente.
Yeah.
Presidente was a big thing. So I went there, Mommy used to go there, we used to sneak in little popcorn and caramel. And we went and saw Jurassic Park.
Right.
Shred. I sit down in that theater and I was like, yo, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. So when I was done with that, I walk out, and on the marquee where they have the name of the film now showing, I saw Steven, which is my name.
Right.
So Steven Spielberg. I removed Spielberg and put Taylor, and the rest is history.
Wow. No. That when that happened at that age, you know, a lot of times, just like we were speaking earlier before we turned on the mic, a lot of times at that age, even Elon was talking about it this morning, that these things are inside of you. Right? This is naturally who you are, and sometimes we are swayed from it based on, and it's none of this to mommy and daddy too, because they going off for what they know, right?
They grew up in a different space,
right?
Too,
so they don't understand. If you come and say, mommy, daddy, I think I want to do special effects and filmmaking, they'll be like, what?
Good thing about that,
you want to be a doctor.
They were real supportive in that vein.
Oh, serious?
So I was never swayed in terms of doctor, lawyer, this, that. They always said, whatever you do to the best of your ability, and you could do anything you set your mind to do.
Right.
So that was inculcated in me long time. Like, yo, if you're doing it, if you're cleaning the bathroom, make sure and get under the tap.
Right.
Mommy gonna check right there.
Right.
What they doing, do to the best. So from a young age, once I took the time to show them, one, that you could make money from art, because that's always the thing. Can you live off being an artist and all of that? So at an early age, I started to win painting and art competitions.
Right.
And that's when they realized, yo, this kid is 11 and he just get $2,000 on doing this painting.
Right.
Where's this world of painting and art and all of that? And that balance kind of allowed them to pour more into me and their extended friends and family and really show the potential of it. Because I think most times the concern with being an artist or anything of the beaten path is, could you survive? Like parents just want to make sure that their children could live and survive and eat their food.
Correct.
So understanding that in the earlys really helped them to pour more into me and just support. Yeah.
So how did you further it though? From being in Trinidad and Tobago, sometimes you might hear you may not be able to create or to go on that path in the way you would want to. So how did you do it?
Well, I ain't gonna lie, you know, it wasn't easy. Because back in the day, you know, the doctor, the lawyer, the engineer, that's normally the thing. Right. Went to QRC, big up all itself, QRC.
As a QRC,
I had a plug that. That's the institution, you know. The institution. Yeah, so essentially, you did the usual, the maths, the English, the whatnot. But what was helpful for me is, once I knew what I wanted to do, spoke to mom and dad, they was like, yo, if that's where you want to be, go for it. Right. Everything else I did was in alignment with that. Okay. So if I wanted to go and do art class, they'll make sure I got the art class. If I signed up for some competition, they will bring their whole clip. When I doing Penta Paint and Create or whatever it is, they'll bring their whole clip. So I always felt like I was doing something right. They did say they had no money for this. So I had to find it. Right. But the support was 100%. Nice. So taking that support, that fueled me to make these decisions.
That's important.
But it wasn't easy. Being the first special effects makeup artist, trained in animatronics, prosthetics, and all of that.
Where you got that training? Because when I was reading stuff and I realized We done went Canada and doing thing on Netflix, and how they done reach from how we reach from Sound to reach out there, but like what
raising real funds, I'll tell you that's true, boy. I sell 5 Finger outside Newey. I throw all kind of fets on Morris Street. I sell my DVDs of my first film. I sell T-shirt, I sell curricule, but I do about 12 fundraisers. I wash car on Stanmore Avenue with my father. The news come and see me crying. Children come and bring envelope with dollar bill and thing. Boy, it was a real pain, but I always, make a sign in them cardboard signs, send them to here, there. And that was on each stage. Each stage of this journey, it's always been trying to share with people what I want to do, what the idea is.
How come you didn't get swayed though? Because when you're selling 5 Finger and things like you sometimes you sound hot and thing and you're like,
especially,
and why really want to do
especially when your brethren slow down and they make sure it's you. I just ask them, you're buying or you ain't buying, you know. Yeah, your brethren is like you tell yourself again, not sale now, but they just slow down to see what
make sure it's
you. You buy?
And this man is selling 5 Finger by you.
Super five. I think I must big up Mr. Joseph from QRC. Again, that's what I think where I learned, of course, growing up. Art. He was art and TV.
Mr. Joseph.
Yeah, real quiet fella.
Mr. Reyes.
Yeah, Mr. Reyes is my boy. Yeah, he's the red man.
Joseph was the brown man.
Yeah. But Reyes is really eccentric kind of out there, and Joseph is the ghost, so they just be like lurking and, you know, when they catch him in a vibe. But he was the one who exposed me to being intrinsically motivated versus extrinsic. I never forget that. Like, if you're intrinsically motivated, this motivation goes with you wherever you are. It's not dependent on what people see, validation, money, nothing. Right. So it doesn't matter if I'm in Trinidad, if I'm in Canada, wherever it is, I'm walking with this.
How do you develop that?
You develop that. I must say I have a prayer life. God is important. Being able to talk to somebody outside of you, that universe, the spirit, the energies, whatever they calling it now, that's real important, because that is what sort of re-energizes me and reminds me of my purpose.
Right.
So I was an altar server for about 8 years.
Right.
Big in that. I wanted to be a priest at a point in time. Did pilgrimages, went to Spain, went to Jamaica, did that whole thing. So at an early age, I was real into understanding self, your purpose, your soul. I lost a lot of friends growing up here. Real men die, I think teachers, everybody.
You know, just to stop you for a minute. You know, it's kind of strange, because you remember the very first person that we had for Motivational Mondays was David, our CEO here. And he said the same thing. He wanted to be a pastor at a point in time. Yeah. Now we have people saying that. So we now we make the marriage between that having that strong spiritual base and how important it is.
Because you go inward with the spirituality. You go inward. Right. Like, who am I? Where am I? What is my purpose? Passion. Like, a lot of people spend their lives not figuring out what their purpose or passion is. But that's the driving force they being. Like, why do I get up every morning? Why am I here? So taking that time when I was a young un, being disciplined, going to church, ironing your gong, doing this, doing that, right, going confession, being accountable for what you're doing and owning up to it. Like, those philosophies and ideas, it's bigger than just going in a boot or being somewhere every Sunday. It's discipline as well, commitment, all of that. And I really wanted to be a priest at that point in time. Went to Spain, and then God spoke to me and he said, yo, no priesthood thing for you. You could reach more people in film. That's what I heard. Because you can teach the generation that's coming out now. They're not going and sit down on no pew. They'll watch Netflix. Right. So you could put your movie there, embed whatever themes and tones and values, and they'll learn it that way. Because nowadays we don't want to be told. We want to feel like we learned it on our own. Right. So I gained that. That was literally, I was in Spain. And I literally heard, yo, the pulpit too small for you. You gotta make film. So that's what I try to do, imbue my film and my work with strong themes that could reach the masses.
All right, so you spoke about raising the funds and all the different things that you had to do, right? You spoke about the spiritual foundation. Now, what actually took you to Canada now to doing the things that you did there?
All right, so Mom ended up stumbling on a show called Movie Magic. It was on TV, cable, right? Cable was the big thing back then, and I used to watch that. If all by me and we playing cricket or football, my mother will say, "Steven, Movie Magic." all yeah, I done.
Right.
That's where I started just studying this behind the scenes, looking and seeing how they're making these movies. After that, of course, I realized, yeah, boy, this is really what I want to do. Started to do research. I knew I wanted to do hands-on because there's a difference between special effects makeup and visual effects. One is more computer, that's the visual effects.
Right.
Hands-on is special effects, practical kind of thing. And did research, came across a school in Canada. So realized I can't afford it. Like everything else.
Right.
You know, and just raise the funds. Mommy reached out, tried to get a scholarship as well. And then, yeah, went on a jet plane, lived there for a year. First time I left Trinidad, so that was a whole culture shock. It's also the first time I didn't feel weird, I must admit. In Trinidad, I felt real weird. Everybody's like, you're real weird, dog. Like, where's your scene? You don't lime, you know this. Where's this makeup thing? But in Canada, they appreciated the value of my work. My insight being different was a plus. And that was really helpful to feel like I am enough. You're not weird, you're eccentric, you're unique. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that whole experience was really good, and my parents was 100% behind. But I want to say something on that point. A lot of people talk about flying out not easy. When nobody looking like you, they're not sounding like you, they're not eating your food. Yeah, and a certain money. Sometimes I had to leave school and go home and eat in McDonald's and McFlurry and just dip in the fries in the ice cream and calling that George. Like, it ain't all glitz, you know, or people.
A lot of times you don't hear that part of the story.
You don't hear that part, and that's why it's important. I mean, racism, colorism, all the isms. People not understanding you, trying to figure out how to keep this accent. Like, this is a mission of mine. Despite living wherever, I want to keep this tone.
Right.
Is a thing. So yeah, that is how I got to Canada. Spent a year there. Must big up Auntie E and Uncle E. They were Trinidadians who went up there. There was in the era of when they walking on the road and people will spit on you.
Wow.
That was the era.
Wow.
So they took me in as family friends, and I stayed there and really learned, and that's where I learned about being African American or a black person out there. You can't wear no hoodie, Tim. You can't your pants down. Yeah.
Profiled one time.
Wow. Sure, I'm saying, lick the concrete.
Wow.
So that was good, but it really just also put me in a space for being in the world,
right?
And I think that really opened my eye.
You see, what's important about you telling us your story, and we'll get to some of the things that you have accomplished thus far. It seems like when you lock into your purpose, a lot of times you hear the story, do not focus on the how. Right? Don't focus on the how, because it will happen. The how will, it somehow, just like you mentioning going to Canada and being able to stay with these family or family friends, as you said. It sometimes we focus so much on, how am I going to do that? This now,
and then they get crippled.
Yeah. Because even recently watching Steve Harvey when he was on his journey as well and wanting to be this comedian and going somewhere and not having a dollar in your pocket and studying how, and this Caucasian couple took him in as like if it was the son, and now he could link back with them, and he was in tears and all of that. The full circle moment. So a lot of times we have to just put the how behind us. Don't focus on that, because that, as you said, could cripple you.
Yeah, it will cripple. It has crippled a lot of people.
Right.
They just don't know how.
Right.
And just also do research, Red. Like, you're not the first.
Right.
Right. There's other men who looking just like you, who poor, who this, who that, who went to the same school, had the same passion. Like, rely on that foundation. Learn, study, reach out, even if they don't look like you. You know, that's how I realized scholarships exist. I will be real with you. Scholarships is how I went through school.
Right.
But that's when I learned that the same ministers, the same politicians, the same CEOs, the same heads of businesses, all of them accessed scholarships or grants.
Right.
But they wasn't teaching me that. I had to go and work hard, or go and work in the market, or go and do this. No, like, those applications, you had to work smart. So when I did the research, because remember my parents would tell me, yo, we love you. You see this flim thing, as they say. this flim thing? We love you. So that's when I did the research, and I started right here. I was like looking and seeing how these people made it, and a lot of them scholarships from this, scholarships from that, and that's how I apply myself.
Right. So doing the stuff in Canada, when I saw the part where they did this on Netflix and so on, I was like, how did that happen?
So many of it is relationships, I was telling somebody just yesterday, she's a writer from LA, Trini parentage. A lot of it is really about relationships. It's 10% skill.
Okay.
So going along with your energy and being yourself is another thing that's really important throughout the journey. So I can't even remember how that happened. There's so many of them happen now.
Right.
It's like, for me, it's just building that relationship, being true to who you are and connecting genuinely with people. And once you're sharpened your skills already, it's just a matter of giving you the access.
Right.
So with anything, the Netflix, the working with Will Smith, the whole Overbrook production.
Will Smith?
Yeah, boy.
Oh, Will is right. Will cool.
Will is exactly what you see on TV.
Serious?
You know, that's a man that's changed and is like, dog, who is he, boy? Nah, he's
clown.
exactly, clown, real passionate, real emotional, real, real. He wearing his emotion on his sleeves, he don't play.
Right.
And similarly to that happened while I was in Trinidad.
You meet August?
Huh?
No, wait. Howard reached there.
That
happened here.
That time.
That happened here.
Right here in Trinidad and Tobago. And that's the other thing I want listeners to really understand. Like, you don't have to leave. A lot of my greatest achievements, milestones, learning lessons and all of that, friends, happen right here in Sweet TNT, and it's the perfect place for it to happen because we real grimy and we real intense and we could criticize. But if we could get our licks out here, then when you move out, it's good. But the Will Smith thing was right here. I was in UE, big up UE film program for sure.
Right.
That helped me really love my culture and our stories, and they didn't just look at Caribbean stories, they look at Latin American, Bollywood, African cinema and all of that.
Right.
After big up Asha Lovelace, Yao, that whole space there. And I did a film because anybody asked me about you, I was real intense because remember I ain't had no money. I got through on a scholarship to go there from sixth form. I'm playing. I have to keep my grades at certain levels. It's out the door.
Right.
So I never went to school. I went to the studio. That was just how my approach was. This is work we grinding. And every film I did I always did it for, you never know who could see it.
Right.
And there was this film I did called Brushstrokes. Will was in Trini. He saw it, loved it. Long story short, got flown up to Philly, all expenses paid, first class, to the set of After Earth with two other brethren of mine, Shay and Dominic. Asha Lovelace linked that with her. She was there, and that was that blew off my whole brain because it showed me that there is no specific timeline to achieve any goal, but once you're ready. So that intensity I had in you, that people didn't understand. They didn't know I love this from since 7 years old. I ain't now love this. So now when I get this opportunity to play with cameras and play with lights, I real glad. But it's also just part of the journey. This is not the end. And Jed, he saw that. We got chosen. Shay and my boy Dominic, we went up. We got all expenses paid, driver, this, that, and that really opened up my mind to how real this thing is, how close it is, that I could do this from Trinidad and be recognized in that space for something I did right here. And when I came back from that experience, it was game over.
Wow.
You
see, a lot of times, and what I'm noticing in Motivational Mondays, I'm linking the different things that these different success stories are sharing with us. And when you say something like, you have to be ready. You have to be ready because you don't know when that moment is going to happen. We could be here, and you don't know, somebody might be passing in that corridor, they stop, say, hey, who's that brother? Ding, and then come in here, and next thing you know, that you said is something that David said, and Akushwa said as well. You have to be ready for that moment, because that moment can happen at any
It's so true, and sometimes people get frustrated in the preparedness, because how come this ain't happening yet? But you didn't learn something yet.
Something else you didn't learn, correct?
As I learned to tell myself, this isn't happening yet, boy, what missing? What to do different? You know, and that being ready, that's part of it.
That's what I was telling this brother here.
This one here.
This one here. Right? Because plenty times he's beating up, he's up.
You sound just like him.
Dan. Don't worry. Just keep on preparing. It's going to happen. Don't worry yourself. You understand? Now, when I saw the list of like music videos, for example, with the show in Winchester and the bottle of rum from Marsha Montano and this one, and that's a long, extensive list. Did this happen when you came back? And when everybody realized, the Dan went outside there and and that's how we are too. We got. The dad went outside there and do thing with Will Smith and this one.
That's when it get glad.
They went to do thing with.
You understand? No, but that's so.
No, that is it, and that is all over the world. Like people always say, you had to leave and come back. But if you're in some small town and they stay the same way, and you have to go on X Factor, and then you're small town, be like, oh, you're bad.
Right.
So it's the same thing, and reading and just researching all those stories never made me feel bad or persecute anybody for that. So when I came back, although people wasn't really supportive of it, it's like, why are you doing that? The usual, and it was, and this is important too for some of the listeners, is sometimes you'll go to folks who you believe have your back, and they don't. But also remember, your vision is yours. That's why you have two eyes looking out. So don't expect people to also see what you're seeing. You just can't. It's your calling, my dog. So it's okay.
Not a conference.
Not exactly. Exactly. It's nothing. So that was important always. Like I never try to impress or convince people to see it. It's more like, this is what I'm going to do. This is how you could play a part in it. But this is what I'm going to do. So when I returned to Trinidad, of course, your boy's makeup man, of course, you get a little bit of exploitation here and there.
I think it comes to the
do this or whatever. But I did. I did.
My thing, you get paid.
I don't know if I got paid for your thing. But we can handle it now. I'm doing royalties,
No, I just the voice of. For the pockets of. You have to check the real one.
But tell us about the list of different music videos and so on that you would have done.
So special effects makeup was one. That was my in, right? Because I always tell people, like, you have to have a plan. So I always like special effects makeup, but I wanted to teach it as well, bringing it back.
Okay.
If you want to go to the top, you have to find somewhere to go through. Well, I don't want to say the bottom, but you know.
Right.
Right, you have to go in some lower doors. So special effects really helped me get into the industry because it was the unique thing I could do and I was naturally talented about. So with Bottle of Rum, it was special effects makeup. I am Marshall. Didn't know my name. That literally didn't know my name. He's like, makeup man.
Makeup man.
A makeup man, bye.
My neck here. What's up, my neck a little more.
And a big up the director, Nat Dory. He brought me on for that. And then Lisa Wickham brought me on for show in Winchester's new music video. Lisa, Lisa is always about bringing people up. And that was actually the first music video in Trinidad and Tobago to use special effects makeup, practical on-screen special effects makeup.
Right.
So that was a historic moment for me. And then it wasn't just music videos. I worked on National Geographic Locked Up Abroad right here in Trinidad. They shot an episode here. Some feature films. Actually shot here till we was in maximum state prison and all of that.
Right.
A number of feature films were shot here, did special effects. So I was just like the go-to fella. Because at a point in time, men was using matooks to get their blood. But then I...
Ketchup
and so it was just like at that point in time, I was the fella to make it up. Yeah.
The game changer,
Have you ever been approached by any of the Trinidad artists for their videos?
I have. Actually, it's funny you say that because a week before this guy was shot 6-something times, I was approached to his music video.
Serious?
Yeah. I respect the Trinidad artists. I'm real creative.
I have a question, Trumpet.
Yeah, go ahead.
Now with the COVID-19 pandemic, how has this affected your practice?
Perfectly, because I was always training for this. When we went to school, when I went to USC, that's when I did that whole thing. Went to USC. Our professors out there in LA, they were saying, yo, we're not training you all for the big screen alone. When is your time? It will be all screens. Laptop, cell phone, desktop, in the airport, in high-low, in there, da-da-da-da-da.
Right.
So now I just sit in my glee. Because it's content.
Oh, yes, boy. Yes, boy.
I make it content like that. Everybody wants to watch something, see something, shoot something, edit something, pitch something, act something. I in my glee. So it's like and that's what I'm saying, just trust in the process. From 7 years old, that's the whole mission. Coming full circle. Now being an artist, being a content creator is in demand. That's our work. But I didn't now start. Been doing this for a while, decade plus. So it's been really good for me. I also branched off into consultancy. I managed some social media influencers. I did Daniel Loveless for a bit, the What You Know guy, Ariana, a couple of folks. And I also launched a product line called Ream Granola.
But that's it.
I can bring some for you to try the thing.
Diversification is important.
Exactly. Feed your heart. What's the thing now?
So what made you decide to even do real?
Well, I'll be real. As you know, we work all kind of hours, right? Getting up early, going to bed late, etc. And I went to the doctor, not gonna lie, for one thing, and then he tell me, boy, you're high cholesterol, boy. I say, you lie, look at how sexy I am. And my wife, who's in studio with us, we went into the car park and she was like, oh God, you got dead. And collectively we went into the kitchen. I reached out to our health coach, Ivory Hayes. She was amazing, helped me understand fixing your mindset is so important with everything you do. Even with losing weight, you have to really adjust your mindset. And we discovered the power of oats and grains and nuts and all of that. Concocted this Ream. I was eating this for about 5 months before I bring this to the public. And then a day I say, nah, boy. This too good.
I understand this, boy.
It's too good. And this was just before the lockdown. So
why did you get some plastic there and we wrap up the thing and sell it?
It actually was like that. I come out and be baking. I take a pause, went into the little home office, print her name is Ream. I print out her name on a piece of paper and I you know them kombucha bottles having price, man. I print that out and I stick it on the bottle. And then I post it on Instagram. And that same night, that bottle got sold. In about 2 days, I had 100+ orders. I had to take down that post. Take it down. The same night, somebody's like, yo, where you living? And that was Ream. Ream just catapulted into the space. So we in about 10 stores now.
But the artist real high on game too, because they say, yeah, that's her name. Her name is Ream. I named it Ream.
Yeah, I did. I did. I had to support the wife.
Yes, she's
always there for me.
Right.
And I've always been interested. I remember as I link it back, I was saying like, yo, how come we don't have no businesses, Jed? Like, how come we always creating stuff? How come we have any businesses or products? And I remember every time I drive, when I was a child, I was driving around. One thing I used to say is that big building, Curiosity, I wanted to go to. But I was just to look at malls and multiplexes and all that stuff. Daddy, how them does make that? How you does get at?
Right. Wow.
Like Panadol and stuff.
Yeah. Panadol and stuff.
Right. So this has been a real surreal experience for me.
Wow.
The first time we heard the when they scan the barcode and go beep, I was like, Pops. I heard Pops, then beep, I heard Pops. So that's been a really good experience. And ultimately, what I was telling my wife, Reem, is really to create an avenue as well to come full circle to be able to pour back into this industry. There are not a lot of places where creators can go and say, hey, this is my idea, and they support it. They don't see the vision. Now, if I am a creative and I've gone through it, Ream becomes a place where people could be motivated and encouraged.
Right.
So much so that this Wednesday I'm actually having a free forum for actors, film and TV actors, emerging actors, to come into a space where you can do a monologue. So you come to the Zoom meeting. I was able to link up one of my dear friends, an actress. She's on Snowfall right now, the John Singleton series on FX and Hulu. Free of charge. I was just, and these things come to me. It's like, Steve, when you think you could do this? And my wife was like, I'll go on our next project. I say, well, that's what I had to do. And I did it. And Wednesday they could come through. I call it the 1 hour series. And they come for 1 hour, ask questions, get your monologue tweaked. She'll also share with you her tricks and tips to get your auditions. And she's on the show right now. So check the show out before you come. It's Snowfall. She's her name is Adriana.
Adriana on the show. You see what you're talking about there is the whole circle of blessings to it, because when you get to the point where you could actually bless others and help them in their personal development, that's the whole circle there. Because even on your journey you would have had people who would have said, hey,
absolutely,
Steven, ting, XYZ, check this out, check that out kind of way. So now how does that feel now, being able to do that for people?
How it feel, boy, is a question we always get asked. And I say we, is like there's certain friends in this space. It's like, when you make it big or you do this or you do that, are you going to give back? How do you feel? Like even the Winston Dukes of the world, I had a conversation with him. That's always the thing. For me, I never see it as I've arrived. It's just as I'm going, I want to bring people with me.
Right.
So it's not I take a break from it and then when I'm on top of the hill, oh yeah, Ole, come, let me go. Yeah. I jump into the taxi and I say it have space for 3. Who want to go? Let's go. Let's split the bill. You know, like run. So it's always been for me that continuous momentum.
Splitting the bill is important.
Right. Especially for bears on Friday. Because that's 600. But men burping and they watching it is like, wow. I know I call the line, but oh God.
Go boy, do something. Do something.
So as I go, anytime I get inspiration, I'm open to that. It's never just heady. Sometimes I'm in my room editing something and I will just hear a voice say, Stephen, you should do a workshop XYZ. And being obedient to that voice has never failed me, and I call it God.
Right.
I will just be doing something and I will literally hear, Stephen, you know, you should do another special effects workshop.
Right.
Stephen, like just this couple of weeks ago, a mother reached out. Her daughter loves special effects makeup.
Right.
And she wanted to do this amazing surprise. She heard about me. She was inspired. And then we went down on Shelter Baptist holiday, drove down the road to surprise the young girl.
Wow.
And that was real nice. I was like, I saw myself.
Yes.
Yeah. I wouldn't mention her name because she's a child.
Right.
But it was such a great experience. Go down there and she saw me and I did the makeup on her hand and she was in her glee and she was speechless and she was just like, but I didn't have that experience. I couldn't just, you know, go to the special effects makeup guy up the road in Trinidad. I had to go to the fly abroad, get my accent there, snow, 40 degrees, nosebleed, all not getting, but now she could just call away, come down the road, in your house, up close and personal. Somebody who looks like you, sounds like you, it's accessible, it feels real. So that's exciting for me.
During the discussion, you told us about your parents, you told us about your wife, and we realized the importance of having that support system, how important having that support system in your life, in your journey, has been to you. Been for you, I should say.
That's your first set of cheerleaders.
Right.
I mean, when you're in your circle there, they believe in you first, you know, and those persons, most times, are the people who you cherish the most. So if they believe in you and they're giving you that gas, as we like to say, then you could go anywhere. So that is really important to me, and that, I must say, has been an integral part in my journey. Having your parents show up at your competitions, seeing them in the front row smiling from ear to ear.
Right.
Having them bring their own friends. Having wifey here right now, she's in studio recording this, so I could post it so the folks on social media could see it and get some gems from it. All of that is super important. You don't need a lot, you know. You just need a few people.
All right, but parents and wife, that's understood. But like friends and how do you? This is one that Elon would be interested in. How do you know how to sift between the ones who really supported for the right reasons and the others who just yes. How could you tell them from those?
The parasite. That's a real good question. That's a good one, you know. How could you tell
them from those?
I tell by being myself. So I am never trying to impress upon you.
Right.
So we come in here, we spoke, we vibe, we click, we understand how each other is.
Right.
We could have been like, he's a real inspired. Right. For me, it's just becoming present, being yourself, and then just being open to the fact that everybody can like you.
Right.
That's cool. You can't be friends with everybody, and you can tell once you tune into that. Studying body language and stuff, you can see how the mannerisms of somebody, if they look in the eye, if they can't be honest, if everything you do is great. That's perfect, bro.
Yeah. Because
not bad.
Maria Bradford was said that you missed there.
Yeah, that chat, bro.
You missed it.
You want real. I also want to be able to call you about things that might be sensitive and I'm not feeling this way or I'm not feeling confident today or whatever.
Right.
For me, I judge the real friends by the ones who I could call at any point in time and they'll drop whatever they're doing and show up.
Yeah, right. Because and one of the things about being real, because if you're not being real and somebody latch on to that energy, remember they're not latching on to your real energy.
Exactly. You faking right your whole day.
They're latching on to the fake energy. So they could be fake because they're latching on.
But that way you're showing them.
Correct.
But if you come in real, like I remember feeling that weird vibes before I left Trinidad, I used to wear my socks, tall socks, like the little things tall socks I wearing, or I listening to a little, what you call it, Avril Lavigne or something.
Right.
What are you listening to, bro? You don't like Dini? I say, I do, but I also like this.
Right.
I could like all of it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Correct.
Meanwhile, you listening to it in your room, you're afraid to come out, and, so just simple things like that. When I realized I am me, I could own myself, and who I am, once I present that energy, like minds will be attracted. And then that's how we just sync, because you have to put out that energy to get it back.
Your vibe attract you. That's right, boy. That's right, boy.
Exactly.
Now, before we wrap up, somebody listening right now, they might be interested in special effects, in filmmaking, probably acting, entrepreneurship, whatever it may be. What advice could you give to that listener right now looking for something to... Then they wake up this morning and the energy is just not feeling like, why should I carry on with this boy, or I should just drop, man, with this pandemic and all of that, let me just forget. What would you tell that person right now listening to you?
Change your circle, adjust your circle, adjust your influence. So even a lot of people on the social media, clean out the social media, because when you get up in the morning, the first thing people do is do what? Go on your phone and start to scroll. But if you clear that out and you put on people who you admire, people who inspire you, because people ain't saying no prayers now. So if you go on, they should. But if you maybe follow a pastor, follow somebody you want to be like, follow somebody who has motivational quotes, follow somebody who doing Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, follow the things that you aspire to be, then you can virtually create your circle and then be motivated. Because sometimes it might be heard, or sometimes people see you as weird, but you could create your influence as well. You can. Nowadays it's a delete, a block, or unfollow. You know what I mean?
Even you don't know how you just hit it there, because I'll tell you why. Something I was watching some time ago, and they were talking about your top 5.
Yes.
Right, and the top 5 people that are around you are right. But sometimes, and that person says sometimes it don't have to be a physical top 5.
Exactly.
You understand? If your top 5 is like T.D. Jakes, or what's this guy, Gary V,
exactly,
and others, and you get all the information on these people, you follow these people, you have their audio, you listening to Gary V. Yeah. When you go on that social media and you scroll in this, what you seeing content from them, their stories, their
and remember, they now have followers who would be like-minded.
Correct.
So now you can slip in that DM, not just the birds.
Yes, boy.
Hey, yo, I saw you like this thing under Gary V. I noticed you have because people have their highlight reels or their resume on the Instagram and say, I noticed you have a granola business. I'm starting one out. You think we could do a Zoom?
Yes,
or on
boy.
Instagram now you could do a video? I have met so much people, even on Clubhouse. Like, yo, you have to... Clubhouse is a plug. So much people I have met, directors, producers. It's amazing, but people like to make too much excuse. At the end of the day, you still have to do the work. Even if you come to me, I don't give you homework. A lot of people feel it. They're like, Stephen, I want to do this and I want to do that. I say, quick, okay, cool. Go and do this research. Find the 5 people that influence you and tell me why. Send it to me next week. Crickets. You're not ready. So it happens so much times. People will message, or they'll message you once and you don't reply right away. They done.
They're gone. Yeah.
But all of that is part of it. They don't understand that you being tested. How bad do you want this?
Correct.
You ain't had to watch no car and stand more than you. You know what I mean? But there's also character building as well. Like if you really those when you jump those hurdles, it also reassures you and helps you figure out if you really want this. Because only the things we really want, we fight for.
True. Wow. Yeah. Stephen, thank you. Thank you so much for coming through and sharing them nuggets with us, because boy, sometimes a lot of things too you may already know, but sometimes you just need a little reminder. A little refresher course to get you back on track.
Facebook remind me today, you know, there's like reminder stuff 5 years ago.
Yeah.
I shared when I was in LA, they had now released the Facebook Live, and I shared part of my journey. On the same day. And I was telling why. I was like, wow, you see how this is? The same day I was talking about how I got started and
right.
So that actually reminded me of so many things I want to say today.
Wow, we'll see how it works here, man.
So I just want to say thanks so much. I really appreciate this. The interview was amazing. Thanks for asking like pointed questions. 99.1, the whole squad. Must big up Dominique.
Yeah, boy.
And anything like this, I'm just excited about, because I didn't have somebody like me, my age, our space from where I grew up doing it.
Right.
And I know that our words are powerful when we are here, and we could drop them gems to anybody. Doesn't just have to be a son or a daughter. It could
Correct.
be anybody to create legacy.
Thanks a lot, bro.
Yeah.
So you say it was after Earth, right?
Yeah.
So you meet Jaden too then?
I did actually sweat table tennis with them in studio. Licks, real licks.
Serious? You get licks or?
Nah, real bad. I
You deal with
think
that?
when it comes to table tennis.
Wait, alright.
That's the one thing I could do. When I see the hand do so. Nah, it was really good. I had to big up all my mentors. Huh?
Jaden mad.
He bad?
No, mad.
Mad?
Like mad.
No, he real creative. I think, he was encouraged from a young age to just be himself.
Right.
So he not trying to like fit into your box.
Right.
This is me.
Right.
You know, but
You
everybody.
could buy all the box you want to buy.
Yeah. Cardboard box.
Anybody who wants to follow you on social media and otherwise, tell them how they could make that connection.
Yeah, so I'm on Instagram at Stephen Taylor Film. My email is Stephen Taylor Film. My Facebook is Stephen Taylor Film. That's STEVEN. And you can check me out on my website. That's StephenTaylorFilm.com. But also, if you wanna support the Ream Gourmet Granola, you could go to Ream Granola. It's always make everything easy. ReamGranola.com, and you can check it out there. We are trying to build not only a product that's amazing and healthy and affordable, but also try to create a space where we could give back and help creators like myself back in the day. If you need, a scholarship or you want to support a film, we are able to come to you in that level and show you and teach you and help you build a proposal that could be lucrative for other investors or for yourself. So I'm all about just doing that full circle and just having those conversations. Yeah,
man, Stephen.
The granola was good. It's not stick to your teeth.
You like it? You like it?
Thanks for coming through, my brother.
Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.